It's literally the first day after spring break, so come along with me as I take you on a journey on what the day in the life of a software engineering major at the University of Cincinnati looks like. I don't have a specific routine whenever I'm on campus. My days of the week looks very different every week, so I'm really interested in seeing what I do today. I woke up around 7:30 a.m. and surprisingly, I woke up after the first alarm. That never happens. When I wake up, I typically have something playing in the background, and since today was a Monday, I was listening to the Sunday sermon from 2819 Church. Bro, his sermon always hits, like every single time, bro. I typically try to be out the door 15 minutes after I wake up. I usually have my clothes ready and everything ready, so I just put them on and I'm out the door. Also, just a brief introduction about myself. I'm a junior at the University of Cincinnati studying IT with a track in software engineering. I'm currently in my third year and I have 2 years left. Then I'm debating doing an MBA after that. But so far, I would say my program is going great and I'm really enjoying it. Alright, so it is currently 8:13 in the morning and I have a 9 o'clock class coming up. I do not want to go to that class, but it's one of the classes I've already missed a lot this semester, so I can't afford to miss it again. Also, I won't be surprised if no one shows up because it's literally the day after spring break. A lot of people won't show up to class. And the professor also takes attendance very randomly, so there is not 100% certainty that he's gonna take attendance this morning. But I don't think I'm gonna risk it. I'm just gonna go. Alright, I just got to campus and I parked pretty far away from where my building is, so it's about a 5 to 8 minutes walk from where I park. I used to absolutely hate walking this far when I started going here, especially in the winter when it snows. And I know some people might say it's just a 5 to 8 minutes walk, it's no big deal. But the problem is that this campus is built on freaking hills, so you're literally doing a whole cardio session before you get to your class. By the time you get to your class, you're all sweaty and you're panting like a dog. If I'm early to class, I always like to stop at the football stadium in the morning. It's always very peaceful and I really love the view. I walked into the class and there were only 2 people in the class, and I was like, there is no way everyone ditched this man's class on a Monday morning. But turned out they were just running late, everyone showed up eventually. This is my classmate Dennis. We're in the same group for the final project of this class, and we and other guys were supposed to meet yesterday to discuss what we're going to be building for the final project. I slept off before the meeting started and I couldn't attend it, but this was him briefing me on what they discussed. Apparently, we're going to be building a chat application for this class final project, and I'm really excited. So this class is called Mobile Device Programming. We basically learn how to develop mobile apps using .NET MAUI framework. I don't know whose idea it was to pick .NET MAUI over React Native or let's say Flutter, but I'm not a huge fan of .NET MAUI at all. Also, you can't compare the real world use case of .NET MAUI to React Native or Flutter. All I'm saying is that it would have made better sense if we learned React Native or Flutter over .NET MAUI. That was a wrap for my first class, and this is where the real torture begins. I have a 5-hour break before my next class, and believe me when I tell you this is the most brutal part of my day. I'm either at the library or just wandering around campus trying to burn time. On some days I'm very productive and I use that time to bust out some important tasks. But there are days like this when I'm not just feeling it. Alright, so I just got done with my first class. It's currently 10:23 a.m. This is not the most glamorous part of my day, especially on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, just because of the 5-hour gap between my classes. Like I said, I do have the option for me to, go back home and come back at 2:30, but do I want to drive home and come back here at 2:30? Absolutely not. So I just have to keep myself occupied, look for something to do before My class starts at 2:30. The 5 hour gap is brutal, but like it's also an opportunity for me to be productive because there's so many things I will have to do. Like I have like a bunch of assignments I need to complete and also a bunch of emails I need to reply to. So this is the perfect time for me to do those specific tasks. I swear I wasn't expecting this much people to be in school today just because today is the day after spring break. I always expected people to call off or like not come to class the day after spring break. And just kind of like a side note, I absolutely hate this table and chair setting over here. It's just so uncomfortable and it just looks so complicated. But yeah, like I said, I have a couple of assignments I need to complete. Most of the assignments don't like get unlocked till like about midweek, about like Wednesday, just because the professors want you to attend classes before you attempt the assignment. So most of my assignments won't unlock till Wednesday, but there are a few of them that are actually open right now, and I just like try to get them out of the way as soon as possible, so that way I free up my weekend to do things I actually want to do. But also I do have a couple of emails I need to respond to. Those are mostly like brand emails for collaborations. But yeah, I'm just gonna complete some of my school assignments, the ones I can complete, then reply some of these brand emails, then probably figure out something else to do because it's a long day and I have so much free time and I don't just want to sit around doing nothing. I usually go to one of these buildings. It's like one of the buildings where most students go to when they don't have anything they're doing. They just like hang out, eat, talk. So I'll probably just go stay there for a couple minutes to an hour, watch a show, do something, and probably come back here and write some code. I'm still working on Scribbler, and if you watch my previous vlog, I'm currently figuring out how to deploy my code to production. So that is something I can do with my free time. But right now, I'm just gonna bust out some of these assignments, then reply some emails. I honestly don't know how well you guys can hear me because like it's pretty noisy where I am right now. I pretty much completed all the assignments I could complete today. I still have I think about 6 or 7 of them to complete before the end of the week. Yeah, this was the building I was telling you guys about, where a lot of students come to hang out when they don't have anything they pretty much doing, or they have like a gap between their classes. This is also where like most of the restaurants and like, most of the fast foods are, and that's how I was able to get this Chick-fil-A. I'm just gonna say, I'm not a huge fan of Chick-fil-A in general. I just feel like it's the only good thing that we have on campus. So that's the only thing I can get right now. Yeah, I literally do not have anything else to do. I think I'm just gonna continue the show I was watching. So I started this The Residence on Netflix. It's actually very good. It's a little bit slow, but it's very good. In case you guys are wondering, I'm currently filming with the Sony FX30. All the videos you guys have been seeing previously was actually shot on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, so just in case you're wondering. So yeah, I think precisely about 3 days ago, I asked you guys to ask me a question that I wanted to do a Q&A video here on YouTube. So I decided to make it part of this vlog. It's gonna be very short, even though you guys had like a bunch of questions. I'm just gonna try and filter some of them and answer the ones I feel are more important or you guys will probably gain more value from. By the way, I really appreciate everyone who asked questions because I wasn't sure you guys were going to ask any questions for real, but you guys actually asked a lot of questions. I'll probably make a whole separate video where I, talk about or where I answer you guys' questions specifically. You guys don't blame me. It's actually very windy here. I've tried everything I could to make this sound the best. So the first question I got is, how do you stay consistent in coding? I would say staying consistent is actually very hard. I have experience. It's actually very hard. It's very easy for you to burn out and get tired. And one thing I figured out that helped me was building projects that don't really end. These are projects that continuously evolve with new features and improvements. For example, Scribbler, there's still like a bunch of things I would like to implement, a bunch of features I would like to add to Scribbler. So that way the project doesn't really end. So I would say building open-ended projects, bro, this wind is about to piss me off. So building open-ended projects definitely help you stay consistent. Regarding burnout, I would say you would always experience burnout. It's inevitable. So having a hobby on the side that you can always fall back to mentally and emotionally would definitely be helpful. Second question, how do I improve in coding? I have no prior experience. What's a good path to practice? So this is a question I was actually really excited to answer because I feel like my opinion about the right path for entry level or people who don't have prior experience in coding, my view on the exact path to follow has changed. Previously everyone would tell you, including myself, I would tell you to go through HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but that's no longer the best thing to do. It will still work, but in my opinion, I don't think it's the best thing for you to do. I feel like it should all start with you asking yourself, what exactly do you want to do? Emphasis on exactly. Pinpoint one aspect of software development or one part of tech you would like to work in. Do you want to be a web developer, a software developer, or a data scientist? Depending on what exactly you want to do, the ideal starting point is going to be very different. But speaking about software development in general, I would say understanding the fundamentals of programming is definitely the best place to start. One good resource I would recommend is roadmap.sh. I've always mentioned that so many times, even on this channel and also on my Instagram. Like roadmap.sh is a gem for people who are trying to learn how to code because it literally gives you a roadmap, regardless of what path you want to take. Web development, game development, data science, like regardless of what path you want to take, there is a roadmap for you. But I would say for software development, it always starts with the fundamentals of programming. So definitely check out roadmap.sh and search a roadmap for software development or web development, depending on what exactly you want to do. I'm going to leave a link to that in the description so it's helpful for you guys to check it out. And when it comes to improving your coding skills, I feel like it's something everyone tells you. It's just like practice. I don't think there's any better way for you to improve your coding skills if not practicing. All right, so this person asked, as a college student, what should you be doing outside of lectures and projects? Personally, I would say two things, and these are the two things I also do: self-learning and networking, basically. Self-learning because whatever you're being taught in college it's never enough. Like it is never enough. I would say some of the best developers I know didn't get good just because they attended lectures. There's a whole lot you don't know outside your college curriculum. So I would say definitely spend time outside of your classes to learn things to supplement your curriculum or just basically learn anything in tech that interests you. Also networking, just because that's the way people are most likely to get jobs nowadays. Also, I would say attend meetups, and don't just attend meetups and go home. That is something I used to do a lot, and right now I regret ever doing that. Just attending meetups and going home. You're really not networking, right? The actual networking is talking to people at those meetups, getting their contacts, their LinkedIn, their, Instagram, like anything you can collect to keep in touch with them outside of that meetup. That is the actual networking, right? All right, so this person asked, how did you deal with so many rejections and what did you tell yourself in that moment? Well, this is a very good question because this is a question a lot of people don't ask. I honestly did not expect anyone to ask, but I'm actually glad someone asked this. Well, the way I see it is that there are two scenarios when it comes to rejections in a typical job application. You can either get rejected during the application phase. This is when you submit your resume and you automatically get rejected. Not automatically, but you eventually get rejected, right? And there is the part where you do the interview, then after the interview, you get rejected, right? Those are two different scenarios. I would say the times where I got rejected during the application stage, one thing I told myself was that I wasn't rejected because I wasn't good. I was rejected because I was never seen, or I was just unlucky, or it was just wrong timing. And this is not a thing of ego; it's more of confidence. And I believe it's left for you to decide if you're that confident in your skills. Well, if you think about it, right, every company has a head count for a role, right, and they can only allow a certain amount of people to interview at once. Once they hit that maximum amount of people they can allow to interview, during a specific period of time, every other person automatically gets rejected. You either get rejected like after a couple of days or after 2 weeks, right? That's the standard, right? You shouldn't blame yourself for being rejected during an application phase because you were probably just unlucky, or your resume was never seen, right? So you don't have yourself to blame. So that's more reason why I don't blame myself whenever I get rejected during the application phase. The one time I got rejected after 3 rounds of interviews, I knew it was a skill issue, and I knew I didn't have the skills that the company was looking for. And it also takes responsibility for you to acknowledge that you don't know something to go learn something. I knew I was very, I won't say I was bad, but I had problems with communication, breaking down technical terms into non-technical terms. That was my problem during my first, round of interview, right? I knew that was probably where I failed, and I acknowledged that, and I actually went to go work at that, right? So it also takes that responsibility for you to acknowledge whenever, you don't know something. And the same thing applies to everyone. If you were given a fair chance for a human being to review your resume, and you were given a fair chance to interview, and you still don't get the job, that's the only time you should blame yourself, right? You shouldn't blame yourself if you never interviewed for a position. You shouldn't blame yourself or tell yourself that you're not good if you never got the chance to interview for that job, right? So the only time you should blame yourself is if you had your resume reviewed by a human being and you had the fair chance for you to, interview for that job and still failed. That's the only time you should blame yourself. All right, so this person asked, do you code every day, and how many hours a day do you code? Absolutely not. I only code when I have to. I don't track my hours or how long I was at a desk. It can be anytime from 1 hour or sometimes 3 or 4 hours. I basically spend as much time needed without me burning out. Also, that's a very poor and negative metric for you to track. Like, you should absolutely not do that unless you're just trying to set yourself up for burnout. This person asked, do you see yourself returning?
Fine.
This person asked, do you see yourself returning back to Nigeria? Very interesting. I've thought about this severally, and yes, I do, but not anytime soon. It's not part of my priority at this point in my life, but it's definitely something I would want to do sometime in the future. What's the biggest risk you've taken? I have taken a lot of risk, but I would say the most significant one is probably moving to a whole different continent. I know like some people might say that sounds weird or that's weird, but people who haven't done it won't really understand how challenging that is. It's also a risk because what if things don't work out the way you planned it, right? It's a lot, trust me, but yeah, I would say definitely relocating to a whole different country. I would say that's probably the most significant risk I've taken. How do you choose between computer science and software engineering as a major in uni? This question never gets old. I feel like this question depends on only one thing, and it depends on what exactly you want to do, and emphasis on exactly. What exactly do you plan on doing after college? If you're certain and if you're 1,000% sure you want to be a software developer or a software engineer when you graduate college, I would say just save yourself from the hassle of CS and just do software engineering. But if you're like every other CS major and you're still undecisive on what exactly you want to do after college, but you know you want to work in tech, then I would say go the CS route. A CS degree will definitely open you up to a lot more roles outside of college, and this only applies to 1 to 3 years max after your undergrad. It's to get to a point in your career where your college degree is literally useless, and all you will need to get to the next stage in your career is your prior experience. Your undergrad degree will be useful for 1 to 3 years, at maximum 3 years. After that, your promotion in your specific career would depend more on your experience and the things you've done, and no one will literally care about your degree. I would say don't really stress or don't worry yourself about what's written on that piece of paper. It's only be useful for 2 years. Like I promise you, only 2 years, at maximum 3. How do you successfully balance photography, cinematography, and software engineering? Honestly, I wouldn't say there's a balance. I typically fall back to one whenever I feel burnt out from the other one. I feel like it's very impossible for you to balance, being a cinematographer or a filmmaker and also doing software engineering. Those are both, careers, or both, things that require a lot of mental energy and time. So I don't think there's really any specific way you can balance both of them, really. Like I said, I pretty much fall back to one whenever I feel burnt out from doing, the other thing. But I'll say recently I've been spending more time practicing making and cinematography and on getting progress. I would say really good progress. Sorry guys, unfortunately my camera died while I was answering the last question, so I had to end it. But I'm currently on my way to my last class of the day. This class is called Digital Media, and it's a class every IT major has to take. It basically touches on all aspects of media and how we can incorporate media in our daily lives working in tech. This class is not my favorite, and it's not because of the professor or the curriculum, but it's just because of the time slot the class is in. I don't like sitting around for 5 hours just for one class. But yeah, the professor was done in about 40 minutes, so we got to leave early and I'm currently on my way home. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this vlog and the Q&A. If you would like to ask me any other question, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram. I've linked that in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.